Hello there, good afternoon. You're welcome to another edition of Living with Sade. And today on the show, we'll be talking about dealing with stress, how to deal with stress. So, what is stress? Stress is pressure or worry caused by the problems in somebody's life. It is an accumulation of mental, physical, or emotional tension in our life. Recently, stress has found a way to infuse itself into our daily living, because if I had to wake up in the morning, very early in the morning, get myself ready, hop in the bus, go to work, attend to clients, face so much heap of work in the office, then I still have to finish there, come back home, do some certain things as expected of me by my family, and also do other things. Then stress is inevitable. So as human beings, we have come to accept that stress has come to stay in our lives, because if you are going to live close to being comfortable, or at least an adequate life, you will be stressed out. You will need to go out of your shell, go out of your comfort zone, and in doing that, you are inviting stress. So we have invited stress, and it's like it's the normal way of life. But we need to know what we're dealing with. We need to understand that when it gets to be alarming is when it gets threatening to our lives, when it gets to a point where disaster is knocking on the door. Then we need to keep it on check, and we need to be able to balance our activities so that we don't get into problems, so that we do not get to a point where it can even take our lives, or make us deformed, or make us totally useless in the life that we're here to explore. So that being said, that is what stress is basically. So now we have different types of stress, different kinds of stress. We have mental stress, we have emotional stress, we have physical stress. Physical stress as in putting or applying a pressure on something that can get damaged or lose form or shape because of the pressure applied on it. An emotional stress is when your feelings are being toiled with, and there are times where you have had setback in your thoughts, you have had so many brainstorming exercises, and then you are breaking down. That is an emotional stress. Now, for purpose of time, we'll be limiting ourselves to three major types of stress. What are the three major types of stress? We have the acute stress, we have the episodic acute stress, and we have the chronic stress. What is an acute stress? An acute stress is the beneficial type of stress, because it is being accompanied by motivation, inspiration. It gingers you, it pushes you to do some certain things that you normally cannot do. Like, for example, you need to cram up your book because you have an exam tomorrow, or you need to pile so many work into a limited period of time because you have a deadline. So that can result in an acute stress, because you need to chunk up so many things into a limited time or into a limited space because you want to achieve something. So it can be very exciting when you do these things, but it gets very tiring because it eventually gets short-lived when you're not achieving results for what you're doing. Then you can get short-tempered, you can be aggressive, you can even get very irritated at the slightest of things. So that is an acute stress. An episodic acute stress occurs in lives of people who live chaotic lives. They live lives that they feel that the only way to get anything done in life is to get worried. They are worried words that they feel, and that they have ingrained worrying into their everyday life, that they believe it is a normal thing to worry. You cannot get anything out of life except you worry. If you don't worry about this, you cannot get it. And these kind of people have certain problems, such as having severe headaches, migraines, heart diseases, hypertension, and all that. These things cause so much disaster, and we need to be able to balance it if we're going to explore life to its fullness. Also, we have the chronic stress. The chronic stress is the extreme type of stress that you face. It is a stress resulting from debilitating circumstances in life. The sufferer of this stress believes that there is no end to the miserable situation that he has found himself. Most times a chronic stress is caused by, or you can see it in people who have unending poverty, very dysfunctional, that are brought up in dysfunctional families, that have problems from their marriages and they don't feel that there is a way out. A person who is suffering from chronic stress would forget that there can be any solution. They have zeroed out life. It can also be because of a traumatic experience that somebody has encountered in the course of living his life, maybe from childhood, and they now begin to form a belief system that nothing good is coming out of life and the life that we live in is a threatening place. That kind of person can end up committing suicide, can end up being violent, being an aggressive person, can end up depressed, and it can get to a point where they take their lives. That is chronic stress. So that's why I said we need to understand what we're dealing with. It would come to a time where the accumulations of these tensions, these various tensions, be it physical tensions, be it emotional tensions, be it mental tensions, will come, in different ways and pile up to a point where it gets really worse. So we need to understand what we're dealing with so that it doesn't take the better part of the life that we are living. Now, having said that, we need to understand the fact that there are certain things that trigger our stress. And as an individual, you should be able to say, oh, this is what triggers my stress. This is the reason why I am stressed out. It is important so that you can be on your journey to recovery. It is very important for you to understand the things that stress you out so that you can deal with your stress head on. So we can classify various triggers of stresses into two categories. The first category is the internal stressor and the external stressor. The internal stressor is a mechanism that happens from you. It is you that is the main contributory factor to how stressed you are. And this can happen maybe because of a phobia that you have, phobia of meeting people, phobia of what tomorrow holds, phobia of public speaking. Then you get stressed out. If you have to speak in public and you have that phobia, there is every tendency that you will be stressed out even before mounting the podium. So that is something that you are causing for yourself. It is an internally generated stress, which means that you are the contributory factor to how stressed out you are. The second type is the external stressor. And what is the external stressor? It's the kind of trigger that happens environmentally. It is that stress that you feel because of that person living next door, or your relationship, or because you lost someone that is close to you, you had a breakup with somebody that you love so much. People are contributory factors to what an external stressor is. So whichever one of the two that you face, you need to be able to understand and be able to identify which one it is that you are facing. Having said that, because you're able to identify what kind of trigger or what are the sources of your stress, then you move to the point where you deal with it head on. What are the things that are expected of you as a human being to deal with your stress? The good news is that no matter how chronic this stress can be, there is a solution. It could either be that you need to change your behavioral patterns, or you need to adjust your lifestyle. But if you seek help, you will get help and you will recover from stress. So we're talking about now the solutions to stress. The first one, try to adjust your lifestyle. When I mean adjust your lifestyle, I mean that you need to begin to do things that you were not doing before, which were lacking and had caused you to be stressed out in the first place. So maybe you were not sleeping, maybe you were not getting enough sleep. So try to give yourself a benchmark of, oh, I should have 6 to 8 hours sleep in a day at least. If I have that, I am good to go. Try to get yourself dietary meals that will help you, that are nutritious to your body. Try to do that for yourself. Also, if you need to do exercises, try different exercises. Try walking maybe at least 20 minutes a day, or do something that makes that just, you know, works out your heart so that you can be in good form. Also, if you need to go see a movie, just take a time out, relax yourself. Do not kill yourself, because as it is, if you have overload of these works, it tells on your body. So go out, relax with friends, go out to see a movie, slot in a CD, listen to music, just relax your nerves. That is one way of dealing with stress, adjusting your lifestyle. Then number 2 is that you need to be able to change your behaviors. There is every tendency that stress is accompanied by certain bad behaviors, because when you are stressed out, you tend to be irritated, you tend to be aggressive, short-tempered, you tend to be violent sometimes. So these are things that you need to work on. You need to be able to change your attitude. How do you change your behavior? When you see that you get angry easily or you get aggressive, seek help. Go to a psychologist. Go to somebody that understands you. Go to a friend. Tell them you need help. Shout it out. Tell it to people that you have a problem. You need to share it with them, and you expect that sharing it with them will give you a solution to the problem. Do not bottle it up in you. Leave it out. So anger management, you can attend anger management classes. If you're dealing with your aggression, if you're dealing with some psychological problems, talk to a psychologist. You can even talk to a psychiatrist. These people, it's not only mad people that we have so many problems that psychiatrists can help us with. So as against the normal way of thinking that it's only mad people, no, they can deal with all forms of these things, and when you talk to them, you air it out. Just get it out of your chest. So that is the way to deal with stress. The third and last way that you can deal with stress is to control your thoughts. You have every power to tell the best things to yourself, and you have every power to tell the worst things to yourself. You choose to believe, and your heart and mind choose to believe whatever it will believe. So when your negative thoughts keep coming and they keep wrestling with you, please do as much as possible to replace them with positive thoughts. Thoughts that would motivate you, that would inspire you, thoughts that would give you an inkling as to the reason why you are living life, that you need to explore life. Do not let stress take out everything that is left of you. You need to be able to explore life, because life was given unto us to explore and to live to its fullness. So not let negativity take the best part of you. You are good, you have been created to be good, and you have been wonderfully created, and no stress, no problem is too much for God to handle. It's too much for you to handle, because He has given you the power over all these problems. So please, live life. You need to live life. So break from the shackles of being held down, that you cannot be better than you are. You can be. So that is it on how to deal with stress for today. Thank you very much for watching. Till I see you again next time. God bless you, and do not forget to subscribe to my blog to get notifications, and please follow me. Bye.